Listen, I need to be completely honest with you right now. My name is Vexthor, and I have been a certified top-tier, absolutely by-the-book food safety inspector for the Galactic Council for approximately 73 rotations. That is roughly 22 of your Earth years, give or take a solar cycle. And in all that time and all those decades of testing, sampling, and analyzing nutritional substances from every corner of the known universe, nothing, absolutely nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to experience at the Interstellar Food Expo on Station Kepler. You have to understand something about my people, the Kurlaxians. We do not eat for pleasure. That concept does not even translate properly into our language. We consume nutri-paste. Batch number K7739, which comes in exactly one flavor, beige. It tastes like beige looks. It has the texture of lukewarm disappointment, and the aroma of absolutely nothing whatsoever. Every meal, every single day for my entire existence. Breakfast, beige paste. Lunch, beige paste. Dinner, you guessed it, more beige paste. Different viscosity sometimes, if we are feeling particularly adventurous. So there I was, walking through the expo hall with my scanner in one hand and my official inspection data pad in the other. Feeling rather proud of myself, actually. I had just shut down a Venusian slime vendor for improper molecular stabilization. Routine stuff, really. Standard protocol. Then I saw it. Booth 7B. The humans section. Now I had heard rumors about humans. Obviously. Everyone had. They were the newcomers, the strange bipedal mammals who had only recently figured out faster-than-light travel and immediately decided the galaxy needed their participation. Charming. In an overconfident sort of way. But their food, that was supposedly legendary, dangerous even. My supervisor Kelmara, she warned me specifically. Vexthor, she said, all four of her eyes narrowing with concern. Stay away from the human booth. We have received reports, troubling reports, which naturally meant I had to investigate. That is literally my job description. Standing behind the counter was a human male, approximately 1.8 meters tall, with dark hair and an expression that I can only describe as smugly confident. His name tag read Marcus Chen, executive chef. He was grinning. Humans do that when they are plotting something. Inspector. Marcus called out the moment he spotted my official credentials dangling from my neck. Oh, he knew exactly who I was. Welcome. Welcome. Can I interest you in some samples? Completely complimentary. Absolutely free. No obligations whatsoever. That should have been my first warning sign. Free samples, classic predatory marketing technique. But what really caught my attention, what really made my three brains start firing alarm signals simultaneously, was the crowd, or rather the behavior of the crowd surrounding his booth. There was an Andromedian commerce delegate, a species known for their stoic professionalism and emotional restraint, literally shoving a triangular food item into his mouth with both hands. His eyes were glazed over, glowing. Actually, which for Andromedians indicates a state of extreme euphoria typically only achieved through meditation or reproduction. Next to him, a Centaurian pilot, still wearing her flight suit, was making sounds I can only describe as deeply inappropriate for a public setting. She was consuming something round and brown, covered in what appeared to be colored fragments. She looked, and I mean this with complete sincerity, absolutely unhinged. What? I demanded, pointing my scanner at Marcus. What exactly are you feeding these people? Marcus just smiled wider. Humans have entirely too many teeth, by the way. Just some pizza, cookies, a few sandwiches. Basic stuff, really. Nothing fancy. Want to try? Basic stuff. He called it basic stuff. Meanwhile, a Plutonian administrator, a species that communicates exclusively through bioluminescent logic patterns, was attempting to communicate the word more in 17 different languages simultaneously, while clutching what Marcus casually referred to as a croissant. This was not normal behavior. This was not regulation-compliant behavior. This was a situation that required immediate official investigation. I straightened my inspection uniform, activated my recording device, and made my decision. I would sample this suspicious human food. For science. For safety. For the protection of the entire galactic community. Definitely not because it smelled absolutely incredible. Marcus handed me a triangular slice of something he called pepperoni pizza. It was warm. It was radiating heat. My people do not eat warm food. Temperature regulation wastes energy. But this This thing in my hands, it was actively steaming. Go ahead, Marcus encouraged, still wearing that dangerous smile. It will not kill you. Probably. Probably. Great. Fantastic. Wonderful reassurance. I took a bite. And listen, I need you to truly comprehend what happened next. My primary brain, the one responsible for logical reasoning and threat assessment, immediately shut down. Just completely offline. Emergency reboot required. My secondary brain, which handles motor functions and spatial awareness, started sending contradictory signals to all 6 of my limbs simultaneously. And my tertiary brain, the one that processes sensory input, began screaming. Not metaphorically screaming. Actually screaming. Internal screaming, but screaming nonetheless. The cheese. Oh, the cheese. It stretched. It was elastic. It had this quality that my language does not have words for because we have never needed words for it. Salt, fat, umami, which Marcus explained is a human flavor category that roughly translates to delicious beyond rational thought. The tomato sauce added acidity, sweetness, a complexity that made my taste receptors, all 472 of them, activate for the first time in my entire life. The bread. Do not even get me started on the bread. Carbohydrates, yeast, gluten structures creating this perfect combination of crispy exterior and soft interior. My species does not have concepts for texture preferences. We did not, until exactly that moment. I swallowed. I looked at Marcus. I looked at the remaining pizza slice in my hand. And I said with complete professional authority, "This is a weapon. You are distributing weapons of mass addiction." Marcus just laughed and handed me another slice. Right, okay. So, professional composure. I am a certified inspector. I have protocols. I have procedures. I have a molecular scanner specifically designed to identify hazardous substances. Time to use. I aimed my scanner at the remaining pizza slice, trying desperately to ignore the fact that I was absolutely going to eat it the moment the analysis completed. The results came back in approximately 4 seconds, and let me tell you, they were horrifying. Glutamates. Massive concentrations of glutamates. These are the compounds responsible for umami, the 5th taste, the one that humans apparently decided to weaponize. Then there were the lipids, the fat, binding to every single pleasure receptor in ways that should frankly be illegal. Carbohydrates breaking down into sugars, proteins denaturing at optimal temperatures, and something called cheese cultures, which sounds like a biological warfare agent, because honestly, it might as well be. This is insane, I muttered, recording every data point. This is genuinely insane. But I needed more evidence, more testimonials, more proof that this was not just my reaction, that this was a systematic, galaxy-wide threat. So I started interviewing the other victims. And yes, I am calling them victims, because that is what they were. First up, Commander Zalakate from the Orion Defense Fleet, decorated war hero, 40 campaigns, nerves of reinforced titanium. I found him sitting on the floor behind Marcus's booth, cradling something called a cheeseburger like it was his firstborn child. "Commander," I said, crouching down, "I need your statement for the official record." He looked at me with all 3 of his eyes, and I swear, I saw tears forming. Actual tears. "Inspector, I have faced plasma cannons. I have survived singularity bombs. But this," he took another bite, "this is beyond warfare. This is beyond anything we trained for. I tried to stop after 1. I have now consumed 7. 7. I do not even have room in my digestive tract anymore. And yet here I am, contemplating an 8th. Next testimony, even worse. Dr. Lyra Quinn, xenobiologist, one of the most brilliant minds in the entire Andromeda sector. I found her in the corner, surrounded by empty containers, rocking back and forth. "The flavor complexity," she whispered when she saw me. "It should not be possible." I ran the calculations. The probability of naturally occurring taste combinations this effective is 0.0003%. They engineered this. They had to have engineered this. "Who engineered what?" I asked. "Humans," she nearly shouted. "They spent thousands of years perfecting these recipes. This is not food, Inspector. This is culinary warfare." I wrote everything down. Every word. Every terrifying word. I thought pizza was the extent of it. I genuinely, truly, naively thought that was as bad as it could get. Then Marcus. That grinning agent of chaos reached under his counter and pulled out a small brown square wrapped in shiny foil. "You should try the chocolate," he said, completely casual, like he was not about to ruin my entire life. "What?" I asked slowly. "Is chocolate?" "Oh, processed cacao beans, mixed with sugar, maybe some milk depending on the variety. Humans have been eating it for about 3,000 years. It is fairly popular." Fairly popular. Fairly popular. The man has mastered understatement to an art form. Now, here is where my training should have kicked in. Here is where I should have politely declined, sealed the chocolate as evidence, and filed an immediate hazard report. Here is where I should have done my job. But my hand, acting entirely independent of my three brains' collective decision-making process, reached out and took the chocolate. I unwrapped it. It smelled sweet, dark, slightly bitter, complex. Oh no. Oh no. That was already a bad sign. I took a bite, just a small one. Barely anything, really. And then, how do I even explain this? The chocolate started melting on my tongue. It had a melting point apparently calibrated exactly to human, and coincidentally Kralaxian body temperature, which meant it was designed evolutionarily or intentionally to create this specific textural experience. The taste hit next. Sugar, obviously, but also compounds called flavonoids, theobromine, phenylethylamine. My scanner, still running, started listing them out. And then it added a note, a little footnote that made my respiratory system temporarily forget how to function. Warning: theobromine acts as mild stimulant. Phenylethylamine triggers dopamine release. Prolonged exposure may result in psychological dependency. Psychological dependency? Marcus, I said, and my voice came out approximately 2 octaves higher than normal. Marcus, this is a controlled substance. This has to be a controlled substance. It is candy, he replied, shrugging. Children eat it. Children. They give this to their children. Humans are raising their young on addictive stimulants, and just, hoping for the best. That is when Trinbella showed up. My colleague, my partner, fellow inspector, 20 years of service, absolutely incorruptible. She walked up to Marcus's booth, tried something he called a chocolate chip cookie, and I watched her entire personality change in real time. "Trinbella," I said carefully, "you need to step away from the cookies." "No," she said, her voice flat, her eyes distant. "No, I really do not think I do." She ate 6 cookies in 4 minutes. Then she tried to bribe Marcus for his recipe. Then she offered him Galactic credits. Then she offered him classified information. I had to physically restrain her. 2 other inspectors came to help. They both tried the cookies. They both joined Trinbella's side. We lost 3 officials in under 10 minutes. This was spiraling. This was actively spiraling into a full-blown containment crisis. Okay. Clearly the sweet items are the primary threat, I said, mostly to myself, backing away from the cookie disaster. What else do you have that is, I do not know, less dangerous? Marcus considered this, then reached for a small bottle filled with red liquid. "Want to try hot sauce?" Hot sauce. The name alone should have warned me. The word hot in food terminology is never ever good news. "What does it do?" I asked suspiciously. "It is spicy, capsaicin. Causes a mild burning sensation. Tricks your pain receptors. Releases endorphins. Pretty standard stuff." "I am sorry." "What? Tricks pain receptors. Releases endorphins through simulated injury. You are telling me," I said slowly, "that humans intentionally consume substances that cause pain for fun?" "Well, yeah. It makes food more interesting." More interesting? Their food was already more interesting than anything else in the galaxy. They needed to add pain to make it even more stimulating. Against every instinct, every regulation, every single protocol in my training manual. I tried the hot sauce. Just 1 drop. 1 tiny drop on my tongue. And the burning. Oh, the burning. My mouth was on fire. Actual fire. I started making noises. Undignified noises. My translator could not even process what I was trying to say because it was mostly just high-pitched panic. "Water," I gasped. "Give me water." "Water makes it worse," Marcus said, handing me a glass of milk instead. "Dairy helps." And he was right. The milk helped. Which meant humans had already developed countermeasures. They had solutions prepared. This was premeditated. This was calculated. "You people," I wheezed, are absolute lunatics. You cause yourselves pain on purpose, and then you drink milk about it, and you call this cuisine? Marcus just grinned. Want to try the ghost pepper version? I did not, but I absolutely did. That is how far gone I already was. Then came the coffee. Oh, the coffee. If chocolate was a controlled substance, coffee was a tactical weapon. Marcus handed me a small cup, almost comically tiny, filled with dark liquid that smelled like concentrated alertness. Espresso, he explained. Double shot. Should give you a nice energy boost. Energy boost. Sure. Fine. Whatever. At this point, what did I have to lose? My dignity was already gone. My professional reputation was in shambles. My colleague was still arguing with security about cookie access. Might as well try the suspicious caffeine beverage. I drank it in one go exactly like I watched Marcus do. Mistake. Huge mistake. Catastrophic mistake. My cardiovascular system went into overdrive. My hearts, both of them, started beating at approximately 300% of normal rate. My perception of time dilated. Everything became sharper, brighter, fast. I could see individual dust particles. I could hear conversations happening 3 booths away. I could smell colors. Wait, no, that is not possible. But I swear I could smell colors. What? I said very quickly, all the words blending together. What was in that? Why is everything so fast? Why am I talking so fast? Marcus, what did you do to me? Marcus patted my shoulder sympathetically. Yeah, caffeine hits different for first-timers. You will level out in about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I had to exist like this for 20 minutes. Vibrating at frequencies previously unknown to science. And the worst part? The absolute worst part? I looked around the expo hall and saw humans everywhere. Walking around, holding similar cups, completely fine, functioning normally, because they did this every single day. They were all addicts. The entire species, running on stimulants and calling it morning routine. After the coffee incident, after I finally stopped vibrating and could see at normal speeds again, after security finally removed Trimbella from the premises, still clutching a stolen cookie, Marcus made me an offer that I should have absolutely categorically refused. Listen, he said, leaning against his booth counter with that insufferable casual confidence. You have only tried samples, snacks, appetizers. You want to really understand human food? Come to my restaurant tonight. Let me make you a proper meal. Full courses. The complete experience. This was clearly a trap. Obviously a trap. Transparently, undeniably a trap. He was going to feed me more addictive substances in a controlled environment where I could not escape, where I would be completely at his mercy. This was textbook predatory behavior. What time? I asked. Because yes, I am aware I have problems. Thank you for noticing. I arrived at Marcus's restaurant, a place called Terra Nova, at exactly 1900 hours. The building was designed to mimic old Earth architecture, all exposed brick and warm lighting, completely impractical for standard habitation obviously, but aesthetically, I had to admit, rather pleasant. Inside, the setup was even more elaborate. Tables covered in cloth, actual cloth, which serves no functional purpose whatsoever. Candles providing light, even though electrical systems are significantly more efficient. Soft music playing in the background. The entire environment designed to create what humans call ambience, which is apparently just emotional manipulation through interior design. Marcus seated me at a corner table and handed me something he called a menu. It was 6 pages long, 6 pages of food options. My entire species eats one thing. These humans had 6 pages of choices for a single meal. I will bring you a tasting menu, Marcus said. Several courses, small portions of different dishes, should give you a comprehensive overview of human cuisine. Several courses, small portions. Right. Sure. I totally believed that this would remain reasonable and controlled. Absolutely. No concerns whatsoever. Narrator's note. I had significant concerns. Course 1 arrived, approximately 4 minutes later. Garlic bread, which is, and I need you to appreciate this, bread that they put garlic on, then butter, then more garlic, then they toast it until it becomes crispy and golden and smells like every good decision you never made. I bit into it. The crunch, the softness underneath, the garlic, roasted until sweet, the butter melting into every air pocket in the bread structure. My primary brain tried to catalog the compounds. Allicin, sulfur molecules, lipids, carbohydrates. My secondary brain gave up and just focused on chewing. My tertiary brain started composing poetry, which it has never done before and frankly did not know it could do. This is just the start, Marcus said, grinning like he knew exactly what he was doing. Which, obviously he did. Course 2. Pasta. Specifically something called fettuccine alfredo. Flat noodles, cream sauce, Parmesan cheese, black pepper. Simple ingredients. Devastating results. The pasta had this texture, this perfect resistance when you bite it. Al dente, Marcus called it. The sauce coated everything, rich and savory and absolutely unreasonable in its deliciousness. I tried to maintain scientific objectivity. I really did. The emulsion of fats and starches creates a stable colloid, I said out loud, mostly to remind myself I was still an inspector. The aged cheese provides concentrated umami compounds. The pepper adds mild heat. The overall effect is delicious, Marcus suggested. Devastating, I corrected. The word is devastating. Course 3 destroyed what remained of my professional detachment entirely. Steak. A section of bovine muscle tissue seasoned with salt and pepper, cooked at high heat, until the exterior caramelized while the interior remained tender, paired with roasted vegetables that had been coated in oil and herbs. The human had somehow made plants taste interesting. Plants. The most boring food category in the entire galaxy. The steak, though. The steak. I cut into it, and it was pink in the center, which should have been alarming, but Marcus assured me this was intentional. I took a bite. The crust shattered. The interior melted. Juices ran down my chin. I stopped caring. About dignity. About protocols. About anything except the next bite. My internal monologue was just screaming at this point. One part of my brain: document this, record the compounds, analyze the preparation methods. This is evidence. Another part: stop thinking, stop analyzing, just eat, just experience this. The third part: we are compromised. We are so completely compromised. Our entire mission is a failure. We do not even care anymore. Dessert arrived. Tiramisu. Coffee-soaked cake. Mascarpone cream. Cocoa powder. Layers of flavor and texture. Sweet, bitter, creamy, soft. I ate it in silence. I had no words left. No scientific terminology. No inspector jargon. Just pure, unfiltered appreciation. I set down my fork. I looked at Marcus across the table, and I said, with complete honesty, I have been compromised. Totally. Absolutely. Irreversibly compromised. You win. Humans win. This is a victory for your entire species. Marcus just smiled. Want seconds? Yes. I wanted seconds. I wanted thirds. I wanted to file my resignation and work here washing dishes just to be near this food. Explain something to me, I said, after my second helping of tiramisu, because yes, I have no self-control anymore. Why? Why did humans develop this? This is not efficient. This is not optimized for nutrition. This is excessive in every possible way, so why? Marcus sat down across from me, his expression shifting from playful to something more genuine. Because food is not just fuel for us. It never was. Cooking, eating together, sharing meals, that is how we connect, how we show love, how we celebrate, how we grieve. Food is culture. Food is history. Food is art. Art, he called it art. Like painting, like music, like sculpture. But you eat it, and then it is gone. Temporary art. Ephemeral art. Every recipe has a story, Marcus continued. This tiramisu, my grandmother taught me. The pasta, that is from a region in Italy, a place on Earth where people have been making it for centuries. The steak, humans figured out fire, and the first thing we did was make food taste better. Not more nutritious, not more efficient, just better, because we could, because it made us happy. I sat there processing this. My entire species approached food as a problem to solve. Nutrients in, energy out, minimal time investment. But humans turned it into meaning, into connection, into joy. So it is not a weapon, I said quietly. No, Marcus agreed, but I understand why you thought so, because once you experience it, you cannot go back. You cannot unknow what good food tastes like. He was right. I could never go back to beige paste. Never. My life before this meal felt colorless, empty, sad. I was ruined, completely utterly ruined. I returned to my station at 0300 hours, which is absolutely not when food safety inspectors are supposed to be working, but sleep seemed irrelevant when my entire worldview had been fundamentally restructured by pasta. I sat at my desk, staring at the blank official report form on my datapad, and tried to figure out how to explain what had happened. The regulations were clear. Any substance that caused behavioral changes, created dependency, or altered neurological function was classified as a controlled substance category 4 or higher. Human food did all three, technically, legally, by every written rule in the Galactic Food Safety Code. I should be recommending an immediate ban, complete prohibition, total embargo on all human cuisine imports. I started typing, Report Inspector Vexthor, Station Kepler 42 regarding human nutritional substances. Recommendation immediate classification as hazardous materials, Category 4 subsection B. Reason: compounds present in human food create measurable psychological dependency, alter behavior patterns, and compromise decision-making capabilities in multiple species. I stopped. I read it back. It was accurate. It was professional. It was completely technically correct. And it would mean no alien in the galaxy would ever legally taste pizza again. I thought about Commander Zalkeet sitting on the floor, happier than I had ever seen a decorated war veteran. I thought about Dr. Lyra Quinn, her brilliant mind finally experiencing something that pure analysis could not explain. I thought about Trin Bella, who, yes, absolutely lost her mind over cookies but also smiled for the first time in 6 years. I thought about myself eating tiramisu, feeling something other than the bland, monotonous routine that had been my entire existence. Was that worth protecting people from? Was that dangerous? Or was it just, maybe possibly something good that my species had simply never encountered before? I deleted the report. Started over. Report Inspector Vexthor regarding human nutritional substances. Observation: human food contains complex compounds that create strong sensory experiences previously unknown to galactic species. Effects include heightened pleasure response, repeat consumption desire, and significant behavioral enthusiasm. Better, more neutral. But it still felt incomplete. It did not capture the whole truth. The truth that humans did not weaponize food. They celebrated it. They used it to connect, to share, to express care. And yes, it was addictive. But was that really so terrible? I sat there for 2 hours, writing and deleting, trying to find language that was honest but fair, that protected people but did not rob them of something genuinely wonderful, that acknowledged the risks without condemning the experience. Finally, I looked at the half-eaten garlic bread I had absolutely stolen from Marcus's restaurant and hidden in my inspection case. I looked at my reflection in the dark screen of my datapad, and I made my decision. My final report took 47 minutes to write, and approximately 6 rewrites to get right. Here is what I submitted to the Galactic Council. Official classification: human cuisine. Category: highly stimulating substances. Approach with extreme caution. Recommendation: regulated introduction to galactic markets with mandatory warning labels. Suggested label text: human food may cause intense pleasure, repeat cravings, and fundamental shifts in dietary expectations. Consume responsibly. Not a ban, not unrestricted either. A compromise, a middle path. Let people choose, but make sure they know what they are choosing. I added a personal note at the end. Inspector's observation: human food represents a paradigm shift in galactic culinary understanding. While effects are powerful, they are not inherently harmful. Recommend cultural exchange programs. Also recommend therapy services for food safety inspectors who can no longer tolerate nutri-paste. Requesting those therapy services for myself, immediately. I filed the report at 0600 hours. By 0630 I was back at the expo hall. Marcus's booth. He was setting up for the day, arranging fresh pizzas, restocking cookies, preparing coffee. "Inspector," he said, looking genuinely surprised. "You came back. I said with as much dignity as I could gather. "1 slice. For breakfast." "This is totally normal and not at all a problem." Marcus laughed, that warm human laugh, and handed me a slice. Pepperoni. Still warm. "Perfect. You know," he said, "you are welcome here any time. No inspection required." I nodded. taking a bite, feeling that same incredible rush of flavor. Your species is going to take over the galaxy, I told him. Not with weapons, not with technology, with this, with food. In 50 years, every space station will have a human restaurant. In 100 years we will all be addicted to pizza. This is the most effective cultural conquest in history, and you people are doing it with cheese. Marcus grinned. We prefer to think of it as sharing. Call it whatever you want, I said. I am ordering takeout to my ship later. What do you recommend for dinner? And that, right there, was the moment I accepted my fate. I was an addict now. A food addict. Addicted to human cuisine. And honestly, I was okay with that. Because some things, some absolutely wonderful, delicious, joy-bringing things, are worth being addicted to. And if humans want to conquer the galaxy one meal at a time, well, who am I to stand in their way? I am just here for the pizza, and the pasta, and the chocolate, and the coffee, and… okay, fine. Everything. I am here for everything. Humans win. They absolutely, completely, definitively win.